Everybody, and welcome back to your favorite little southern Hex Token channel. So I hope you guys like it. We're gonna have a lot of fun here. Good old broadcasting from New Zealand, and of course your host Superman in the house. Man, we did the opening of Hex's third birthday yesterday, a live stream as we crossed over the UTC time for day 1095, and of course we're about to finish day 1096, our first day of the fourth year. So the first day of the fourth year is about to close. We'll be covering that live. And of course, the Hex fourth year is ahead. What the future of Hex looks like. We're going to look at some of those things that are ahead of us and have a little bit of fun with that. Now, if you didn't check out my live stream yesterday, I covered the fact that all the history of Hex. So we covered Hex, Richard Hart's launching on the first day of Hex. We covered the whole timeline of Hex pretty much as well. We covered the doublings of Hex as well. So many of the highlights. It was a lot of fun. If you haven't checked out that live stream from yesterday, do check it out. It's pretty good from that perspective. So this today, we're going to also look at the future of Hex. So we looked at the past. We're going to look at the future of Hex in year 4. And boy, it's going to be absolutely mind-blowing, I believe. And I think it's going to really counter the market, maybe lead the market in many respects into the bull market. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We are expecting recession in the year ahead. And of course, all the storm of volatility. But Pulsechain and Hex are likely to be the shining light on the hill. And we're going to go through some of the reasons that are going to make that happen. So look forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Now, get into the chat as always. Always appreciate the chat. Now, something cool happened today. I've got a new mic. So at the moment, I've got the studio mic and the new iMac. Now got a Shure mic. So I'll be testing that out today. And who knows, maybe I'll do a special live stream later on just to test it out. So it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, let's see who sees in the house. We've got Ted as well. Hey, everybody. Happy Hex birthday 3. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And, of course, hey, Superman. Good to see you, Ted. Dave Down Under as well. Hex on the move. The world feels good again, says Dave Down Under. Definitely got up to 3.3 cents overnight. And currently just holding over 3 cents at the moment. We're going to check that out later on. Pablo's in the house there. Hey, Hex Token, and everybody, countdown to Hexmas. Yeah, Hexmas. I like that. Yeah, I'm feeling bullish about Hex for in the second half of December for Christmas. And there are rumors, and I say rumors, going around about the Pulsechain testnet 3 before Christmas. That'd be very bullish for Hex because that would be the Ethereum proof of stake version, not the old proof of work, aka BSC version there. So excited about that. Brendan's in the house. Hey, super. Good to see you, Brendan. As always, don't forget, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, like, share, hit the bell. And, of course, we're going to have a lot of fun. Let's get into it, folks. Let's have a look at some of the things coming up ahead. And, of course, Hex, the 4th year ahead, what the future of Hex looks like, question mark, exclamation mark. So get excited. We've got a few things here. Climb aboard the Hex train. Let's go. Choo-choo, as we say, choo-choo. Let's get onto it. And, of course, we've got Poly Dashboard. We know that we've got Hex at the bottom layer, the foundation layer. So Hex is no longer just a immutable smart contract on the blockchain with all its audits and its 3-year flawless operation. It's also got products that are dApps and projects that are on top of it. And we've got Icosa Hedron there by Alex McFurder, the dev. And, of course, we've got Maximus there by Gold Key and Dipcatcher with the Maximus products, which is a whole range of now staking tools and DAO tokens and things like that. So it's very excited. And of course, they have also created relationships across their tokens as well. We saw recently with Poly Maximus, and it's pretty exciting. So they got the Poly Dashboard. They're trying to integrate all the information. They've made all these new cool optimized staking pools where people get more rewards, generally speaking. And of course, they're making dashboards for that. So that's pretty cool. And they're obviously going to be doing more second layer products in the Hex on the Hex product. And so the Hex ecosystem itself is expanding. And these guys just keep going. And we're looking forward to a lot more innovation from the Maximus team and, of course, Gold Key and Dipcatcher. Now, obviously, a data center here, Alex McFurder, Icosa and Hedron also are bulling out a massive data center there as well. So looking very excited about how that's going to play in the Pulsechain and things like that. So that's looking really cool. We've also got the highest stakes coming up. We're expecting this like Q1, something like that. So we'll see. They are currently in their marketing phase, basically distribution phase. And that means that they're looking to get the big streamers, the Disneys, the Netflix, those sort of Hulu, those sort of things, and get deals done. We don't know too much about that. We're looking forward to that, and that's going to be potentially get the brand of Hex out to the world, and could potentially reach hundreds of millions of people. We will see how that plays out when it comes out, but very exciting. People that have seen sneak preview of the Highest of Stakes have been very impressed, and of course we're looking forward to it. It also had was it about a 30-40 piece orchestra that has done the music score, which just elevates the whole thing to another level. So we're looking forward to that too. So it's going to be super, super bullish for that. And we're looking at that in the new year. So just stay tuned on that one. They have been posting a lot of teasers on Highest of Stakes. So it's going to be super, super excited. All right, we've got Hex Investment Trust with a public listing. Now, obviously, they are trying to get that $10 million mark. And, of course, the price of Hex came down after they launched. So the timings just doesn't quite play out. And, of course, Hex has been in this bear market for about 440 days. And, of course, that means that the value of the Hex Investment Trust, which is private at the moment, will get a public listing once it reaches that 10 million. They've got to go through the process with the SEC and things like that. And then, of course, go to get a listing on maybe places like NASDAQ, things like that. So that's really huge. That will open us up to all the traditional markets of the world with where all the big money is. You got to remember, crypto is very small. Even when crypto was over 3 trillion, that's still a very small market globally. And of course, now we're around a trillion, somewhere in that ballpark, and still a very small market globally. But high profile, right? That is the flashy thing. Of course, the highest returns typically as well out there in the asset classes, in some ways by a country mile. So Hex Investment Public Trust there, it's going to be able to go to the big public money and attract people with a super high Hex yield because of how clever the Hex contract's been put together. And that's going to be really cool. We're looking forward to stuff from Kinetics and their team on that one. So it's going to be fun to see that. Of course, they're going to reach that 10 million mark. And once I think that the Hex price goes back, I'm sure that will play out as well. So we're looking to keep our tabs on that. We've also got obviously Pulsechain and Pulsex coming up. Now, I don't think there's anything bigger than this. This is just ginormous. And so we're looking for the testnet and then mainnet to follow pretty shortly after that. So let's talk about Hopium. If the rumors are true and we are getting it in a couple of weeks' time, maybe before Christmas, the public testnet, that would be very cool. Obviously, we don't know the exact timing. It is a room at this stage. It's someone that had a phone call to friends. One of them did come out of Power City. So it's highly possible that they've been talking to the Pulsechain devs, maybe have a bit of an insider on that one. But of course, we're looking forward to that. So if that's the case, then, sometime in the new year, Q1, Q2, we might very well see mainnet as well. I think once it pushes out past that, that is a long time since its initial idea. And of course, since the sacrifices back in July last year. But once again, you just got to wait patiently until it launches. It's going to be absolutely huge. Really is going to be a game changer. It's even the chance of it being super successful is even being magnified with the bear market, with all these big, huge companies and dApps and profiles, projects, and centralized exchanges, and of course, CeFi, centralized finance. And of course, we've been so many victims of that. And people have really started to turn the attention to having custodial wallets, non-custodial wallets, I should say, and of course, DeFi. So, and of course, Hex is a shining light amongst the DeFi. So that's going to be very, very big. So, Celsius, BlockFi, 3 Arrows Capital, all these things have been wrecked. And of course, we've seen FTX and Terra Luna and on and on and on. And so people have lost millions and millions of dollars and billions of dollars, actually. Hex offers that opportunity. So it's pretty amazing. So we've got Pulsechain. Pulsex is going to supercharge that. We're going to have the wealth effect. We're going to have the growth effect. We're going to have mass adoption effect. It's going to be absolutely incredible. We're going to have a strong liquidity pool straight out of the gates. We're going to have massive DeFi ecosystem straight out of the gate. We're going to have the Pulsex super DEX with the big buy and burn. And, if we get something like $1 billion of trade volume a day, $700,000 of burn there. 700, yes, it's going to be absolutely incredible. So we're going to see lots of cool things there. Let's get into the next one. We've got Power City Flex is coming as well. Now, obviously, that's a second layer derivative of Hex, just like Maximus and Icosa Hedron. And so we're looking forward to that as well. And that's going to have some sort of varying staking lengths. But Power City Flex is going to be huge. Another way of eating up the Hex circulating supply. And as you know, that's been a big focus of mine on this channel. How is the Hex ecosystem operating and getting the circulating supply down? Now, one of the general big principles of written art is that people buy and don't sell. And of course, Hex is built around that, is that people stake and they get rewarded for doing it and deferring their Hex benefits. And of course, that Hex, when Hex gets staked, it gets burned and it disappears. And so there's less Hex around. And of course, they get it back. They can mint it back themselves in the contract in the future once their stake has matured, and or staking ladder, depending on how they've structured their investments. So that's really, really powerful. So we're looking forward to that. Power City Flex going to build on top of the second layer of Hex ecosystem and expand it even further. So that's going to be fun to see that play out too. The other thing, of course, we've got Overwatch Everything blockchain. It's been talked about in the past that Hex may have something like 6 or 7 billionaires involved in Hex in some way to some degree. Now, I would suggest that quite a few of those are on the smaller side. I think that we have a clear, view that one of them is very big, and that is Overwatch with Rack and Rochelle, and of course Everything blockchain. Not only are they massive Hex owners, and of course Pulsechain sacrifices being at the top of the leaderboard there, but they have something like 5 wallets involved in the Hex, of course, and Pulsechain. Now, the other thing, of course, is that they're not only just investors, but they're actually building and building very strongly in the crypto. So obviously they're doing EB exchange, and of course that's going to also include fiat on-ramp, off-ramp, and that's going to be a very powerful thing. So that's coming, and of course they're going to give indicated they're going to give a lot of preferential treatment to Pulsechain. They're also looking at a coin listing site, of course, for Pulsechain that should include Pulsechain, and of course also wallets security as well. So they're doing some really cool things there. They're also exploring other options as well. So we're excited to see where they have. Now, obviously, all these development teams are all keen for Pulsechain to come. So I think that's going to be pretty exciting. So all these things are going to benefit Hex, right? So Pulsechain, PulseX, we're going to get a copy of Hex on Pulsechain. And of course, all the stuff's going to benefit Hex. And we're going to have 2 flourishing chains on ETH chain, Pulsechain, where Hex is going to be providing a really good passive income. And obviously, we've got these very much smaller chains, ETH Power and ETH Fair, sitting over there as well, over to the side. So Hex is really starting to flourish over the years. So it's going to be fun to see this play out. Let's get into the next one, of course. We've got DeFi, liquid loans, and fiat and famous. So we're going to have a massive DeFi ecosystem in the place. And of course, Hex is going to be very popular amongst these DeFi platforms. And of course, for liquid loans, people could not only just be putting in their Pulse and borrowing USDL and buying Pulse, but they could also be buying Hex and buying Pulse X, so and other popular coins that the people are after. So it's going to be huge leverage play on there. We've also got a fiat there. It's supposed to be fiat with a PH, but I just wrote fiat. So it's supposed to be a PH there. Now, fiat's obviously a fork of Aave, obviously one of the biggest lending platforms. And so we're looking to have that coming to Pulsechain as well. And of course, that's going to have Hex. So that's going to be beneficial too. We've got famous, of course, we just covered the other day with margin trading. Now, obviously, there's more speculative part of market, and of course, where the centralized exchanges dominate. They dominate in 2 areas: onboarding and margin traders. In other words, the risky traders, and they are going to want to have margin trading. And of course, Famous is doing that with their leverage play. So that's a fork of where fiat is a fork of Aave, Famous is a fork of GMX, which is just passed the other day past the margin lending play on a GMX. So absolutely doing huge volumes through that platform. Basically, that's when margin trading is basically where you borrow money and you borrow that at a leverage, so a 2x or a 3x or 10x, and so you can end up borrowing a lot of money. And if the price goes your direction, then you're going to make a lot of money. If the price goes the opposite direction, you're not going to make a lot of money. And of course, they do have, even though it's speculative like that, it does have risk management tools, although they're currently not enabled on the testnet, where you can do limit orders, stop losses, and profit takes. So you can set out limit your losses if the price goes the opposite way, or take profit when the price goes up to a certain point that you're willing to accept. I don't know if they're going to have anything like trailing prices or anything like that, so we'll see how that goes, but it's going to be pretty exciting. Now, I covered that video the other day, so it was very, very cool to see that. Now, the other thing that's coming up, of course, is cross-chain bridges and Power City. So not only are we going to have Epic main chain with Pulsechain, SuperDex with PulseX, but leveraged lending with liquid loans, fiat and famous, crossing all those. Oh, the other thing that we have with fiat is that we're going to have flash loans as well. So it's going to be pretty cool. And no doubt with all those tools, you should be able to do things like debt refinancing, interest rate swaps, and other more advanced debt instruments. So we're going to be flourishing on that point of view. Not only that, but you need also to have chains as well. So you need fiat on-ramps, off-ramps, and of course you need stable coins, which we get liquid loans. We're going to have at least 4 or 5 stable coins from the looks of it. And of course, you also need cross-chain bridges as well. So we've got PowerCity that's done a deal with multi-chain. So we're going to be across multiple cross-chains and, of course, multiple tokens. So thousands of tokens. And I think it's something, I can't remember the exact number of chains, but something like 80, 90 chains or something like that. So it's going to be absolutely awesome. So you can see that we've got all the components for absolute bull rush, a gold rush here. It's going to be absolutely incredible. We have everything we need coming up ahead. So we're going to have the highest of stakes. We're going to have a data center. We're going to have dashboards to the gazoo. We're going to have that connection to traditional money through the Hex Investment Trust. We're going to have a main chain. We're going to have a super DEX. We're going to have projects on the second layer of Hex eating up Hex supply. We're going to have billionaires building out exchanges and opening up new markets, and with fiat on-ramps, off-ramps, all that sort of stuff, coin listing sites. We're going to have it all, folks. We're going to have so much cool stuff. DeFi, all the DeFi you need to leverage up prices. If you want prices to really rocket, having leverage platforms, DeFi is the way to go. That is where all the money is made. And of course, that's going to be a lot of fun. But we also need money to be able to come in and out of the system. And that's where the cross-chain bridges and fiat on-ramps, off-ramps come, including stablecoins. So we've got it all, folks. It's going to absolutely be amazing. So we're looking forward to it. We need mainnet, of course. So we're waiting patiently for that. So there is just some of the things that we have got coming up ahead. But of course, there is a whole lot more. There's going to be a whole lot more. And of course, we're going to be able to cover that on this channel as we move into the future. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see. So I hope you enjoyed just that little teaser there about what it's looking like for Hex moving ahead. If you hadn't checked out my video yesterday for the Hex third birthday, check that out, because we looked back at Richard Hart on the first day of the AA lobby. I think it was some of the highlights from a 7-hour live stream. We also looked at the history of Hex with all the key milestones. And of course, we also looked at the Hex doubling in price to get that 10,000x, label, as it were. So it was pretty cool. Now, obviously, in this video, we've looked at the future of Hex. So really have covered a lot of the things coming up. It's going to be a lot of exciting things, man. It's going to be really cool. Now, what's most important about this, of course, that's not on this list, and that is you, the community. The community is the biggest thing. And of course, Richard Hart always talks about direct promotions, getting out there and spreading the word. So that is the glue. That is the glue that holds it together, is the community. So I do encourage you, like Richard probably would, is to get out and spread the word, and use direct promotions is definitely the way to go. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed that one. And of course, if you haven't checked out hex.com, the link is in the video description. Do make sure you do your investment due diligence. And of course, nothing on this channel is investment advice, just my own opinions. But of course, we have been running 3 years of this code immutable with 3 audits. And of course, it's just been like a dream. You mint your own rewards. No one else is minting them for you. There's no middle enterprise. There's no middleman. And of course, it's you are in control of how you do. In Hex, of course, longer pays better, bigger pays better. And of course, with the share rate, really earlier pays better as well, because the share rate, which is really part of the magic source of Hex, is going up and to the right. All right, so I hope you enjoy that one, and get into the supercharged certificate of deposit on the blockchain. And of course, Hex pretty much made so many new innovations. And as you can see in that roadmap ahead, we've got so much stuff coming. Hex is really continuing to break ground. And of course, Pulsechain is going to amplify that. So hope you guys enjoyed that. We've obviously got the Hex supply coming down as well. Over time, we've got the Hex supply going down and down and down. We're going to be following this waterfall chart for a long time to come, as more and more of these projects and things come to fruition, and we see how they get going. So far, it's been absolutely terrific. And we're up to around about here at the moment in this chart. And of course, we're actually doing very, very well in getting the circulating supply amongst the public down, down, down. Now, obviously, this stuff excludes the OA, which you kind of see as a financial operator. It does a lot of things to keep inflation low, as well as staking. Typically has a lot of stakes coming out at the end of November each year. And of course, we've just seen a lot come out this year in the end of November, now that we're in December. So about 40% of the stuff that came out between 24th and the end of November was OA stuff. So it keeps the inflation. It doesn't sell that, then it's deflationary for Hex. And of course, it also gets 50% of the penalties if everyone else doesn't keep their responsibility. That goes to them as well. So the Hex inflation is relatively low. So it's pretty cool. All right, so let's jump into it. We're going to get into the stock market. Before we do that, let's jump into some of the comments in the chat. We've got a few more people arrived. So let's see how everyone's going. I love that one. Pablo's at the beginning there. Hey, Hex Token, everybody, countdown to Hexmas. Yeah, we're looking forward to it, man. Looking forward to it. And of course, Property View in the house there. Great show again today. Hey, Property View, appreciate it. Really enjoying your channel. Actually, watching your channel is pretty cool, Property View. What else there? Blobfish King says, good morning from Australia. Summit has hit at last. Time for Hex to moon. Yeah, it's a bit like that in New Zealand. We've had a couple of weeks of really bad weather cycles with sort of late wintry sort of feel, but definitely sunny today. So as we head into December, looking forward to a warm summer, hopefully. I have a feeling we might get some cyclones or something. I just have a feeling about that. Just the way that the weather's been so far. We'll see. Christine and House there. Hello, familia. Good to see you. Mainnet of what I was talking about, Pulsechain. Yeah, Pulsechain coming up. I just came in and the live says Christian. That's all good. And Christian says, do you think Hex will give one more dip? Always possible, Christian. Always hard to count that out. We are expecting the hammer to still fall on the crypto market. That has not happened yet, and we thought November might be the case, and maybe it could happen by February or somewhere like that. We just don't know. Really is not as clear as it might have been. We have got a lot of contagion still happening. I don't think that's over, so still expecting volatility ahead. But yeah, Hex is kind of looking good, but I just don't want to count out the fact that if Bitcoin does decide to go to 14 or 12K or 11K and pray, as Richard said, then we could see that. I think the interest rate rise in December the 14th, that's going to be very, very critical. So far, I think we've seen some nice news come out. We'll cover more of that as we get into the stock market update. Matt Jones says, hi all. Yo, suit man, good to see you, Matt. Sandy Beach in the house as well. Happy 3rd birthday. Absolutely. Yes, I'm going to check if PUSD Sacrifice is still going. It is still going, so I can do more SAC. Yeah, so if you missed out on Pulsechain, then I think PUSD's easily head and shoulders probably the best project to get into. You'll get Watt token. If you stake your Watt token, you'll be able to benefit from all the fees generated from a lot of utility businesses. And of course, those fees will end up buying Pulse for you. So that kind of feels like it's the best way to get a lot of volume of Pulse. And then, of course, if the price of Pulse does the big price X that we're all expecting, let's say if it does 100X, 200X, 300X, whatever it does, then you will be laughing yourself silly to the Bahamas. So there we are. All right. So anyway, not investment advice. You must do your own investment due diligence, as always. Just my opinion. Brazology says, woohoo, good to see you, Briz. And of course, Christian, does Famous have a SAC, or is it? Yeah. So the Famous Sacrifice is coming up. That is going to have the margin trading, and I did do a whole video on that the other day. So you can go check that out. The only thing they didn't have on the testnet was the stop losses and profit takes there. So yeah, that's the same thing, which is the risk management side of margin trading. I got a thick package today in the mail. It was dark and said open immediately. I thought it was a subpoena, but it was just some checks I ordered from my credit union. That's funny, Brazil. That's funny. They will have a sacrifice. Yep, they certainly will for Famous. I got my 3 new ledgers today. Well done, Sandy Beach. Good security management there. Briz says Pulsechain, money, a train, and bang, bang. Absolutely, Briz. It absolutely is like that. What else? We got a few others there. Pablo says, I'll be buying some more Hex on the next and final dip of the bear market, says Pablo. Nice. You know, if it does go down, it may just wick down there. We'll see. The sentiment of Hex at the moment is definitely looking a bit better. So we'll talk more about that when we get to the Hex price later on. Gracias, says Kristen. Gracias. I wonder if we can do like a limit order for PLS and PLSX. So once it launches, I can catch it. You can do that already on PulseX. You can do limit orders on PulseX, but you can't do margin trading. You have to do that on Famous, and that Famous is a fork of GMX, and I did cover that in full on a video the other day. You can check that out. Yes, there will be limit orders on Pulsex. That's correct. Sandy, front row me on that one. Nice one, Sandy. All right, so cool. Let's get into it. We got the stock market. Today is the last day of the week. And, of course, it's been a pretty good week, actually, to be honest, I think. We got the Dow Jones is just up slightly, 0.1% there, 35 points up to 34,429. We've got the S&P 500 there is down 0.1%, down almost 5 points to 44,071. It's good to see it back over 4,000 again. The Nasdaq with all the tech companies in it is down almost 0.2%, 21 points down at 11,461. But they're all actually, although they're down on the beginning of the year, they're all actually holding up much higher than I would suspect them to be at this stage. So that's some interesting stuff for me. The dollar index is down 0.25%, down to 104.44 versus its trading partners. And of course, with the Fed not pivoting, because the Fed a pivot is really when the rates start to be expansionary rather than contractionary. And of course, we won't expect that well into the future, into next year probably. But they have signaled that they're going to slow the rate down. The rate rises down, and that's positive. So the dollar there a little bit weaker there too. We have the commodities there. Nice to see this. Brent oil down $85, down $1.33, 1.5% to $85. Brent West Texas down 1% or 89 cents there, 88 cents, sorry, down to $80.34. So nice little pull off there actually. Let's have a look at the last month and see where that is. So if we look at the Brent oil, we can see that even at the beginning of the month, we're up at like $98, and now we're down at 85. So that's a really nice pull off there. We have been as low as $81 though, so we're a little bit higher than that. Gold is down $3.80, down to $1,800, and silver is up 51 cents to $23.35. Now, I have talked about this with Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Kiyosaki, talking about the silver being the poor man's players pretty much. And of course, he was talking about 5 to 25x if the US dollar, if the Fed pivots and the US dollar, tanks pretty much. And of course, we are seeing a bit of a rally here on silver. This is over the last month. So silver here, look at that. That's pretty good. So we started off at $19.37, and we are up at $23.35. So having a bit of a rally is silver here. Now, if we have a look at gold, where was gold? Gold doing pretty well as well. That was down at $16.50, got down low as about $16.25, and that is up at $18.17. So that's doing pretty well at the moment, and of course would do very well if the Fed was going to pivot earlier. But I think the Fed's still going to be more aggressive than people think. So it's kind of where we're at the moment. All right, so cool. Stock market today, Dow up as dip buyers. The shrug off Fed fears amid strong jobs data. So the economy is still holding up with that job side. And that's what the Fed's really looking at. Remember, I broke that down the other day, and you can watch all the Fed updates here on this channel, where I post Chairman Powell updates on this channel. The Dow ended higher Friday, cutting losses on dip buying momentum in the close after shrugging off a red-hot job report that could encourage the Federal Reserve to keep rates higher for longer. And that's the problem, right? So we still get this good, strong employment, and that fuels into the Fed. Maybe they decide in the meeting and they go, oh, actually, let's not do 50 basis points. Let's do another 75 because the job does this too strong at the moment. Let's bash it down a bit there. The U.S. economy racked up 263,000 jobs in November, well above the 200,000 economists had forecast. But worryingly for the Fed, average hourly wages rose by more than expected at 0.6%. Ouch. So that wage inflation, of course, flowing into inflation there. And of course, remember, their key metric is that PCE number. So that's the one they're looking at, that personal consumption expenditure number, which is a broader number than the CPI basket of goods one. And of course, that's the one that they've been setting against that 2% target. We did see it come down to 5% in the last report, but the actual nominal one, that's excluding energy and prices. But if you include those, the headline PCE, then it's up to around 6%. So you got to get 6 down to 4%, or 5 down to if you exclude that, 5 down to 2%. You still got a bit of work to do. So this is keeping elevated inflation fears front and center. This morning, stronger than expected headline rise in employment, coupled with a larger than expected gain in wage pressures, reinforces the need for the Fed to remain focused on taming inflation. So this actually, the Powell, we talked about that conversation about 2 days ago at the Brookings Institute, and this may end up the strong report here coming out today may be enough to, despite the PCE remember on the first, the PCE came down as I just mentioned. But this kind of strong employment may make them shock the market, surprise the market, and they may actually decide, hey, look, I know we wanted to move 50 basis points, but this employment job, this wage inflation, this is showing that the economy is just too robust, and maybe we really noted 75, and that would be the 5th rise if they do 75, and that would be negative for the market. That's going to be a red day for the market, and maybe a couple of red days. We'll see. So it is pretty important. That's what I'm talking about, volatility. When we get these numbers coming out, and that's what plays in there. So it's very hard to make estimates and probabilities when you got this volatility in play. So Treasury yields lost some steam, but remained in the ascendancy as investors renewed bets. Let's see what the bets are at the moment. So here is this is the bets here. So people, 78% are expecting a 50 basis point rise. So remember, we're currently at 3.75 to 4% on the federal funds rate. And of course, this is the bank, the one that the Federal Reserve controls. 78% are thinking it's going to be 50 basis points. 21.8% are thinking it's going to be 75 basis points. So it's 1 and 5. Now, this may change as we head towards the 14th of December for that last federal rate hike for the year. So just keep that in your back pocket, because it's definitely worth watching here on the Fed rate monitor as what people think are going to happen. Technology. So on the Fed's peak level of interest, or the terminal rate, rising above 5% next year, which is what I've been saying. I do expect it to get to maybe 5 to 5.25%. We have had very hawkish or very aggressive presidents in the Federal Reserve there, talking about up to 7%. That'd be terrible, man. That'd be insanely bad for the markets. Could you imagine the amount of mortgages that would start toppling over? Really, really bad. Ironically, though, at the moment, we're still getting the US rates, mortgage rates coming down. Funny enough, at the moment, coming down to 6.5%. I saw recently. So that's some crazy stuff there. That would be short-lived in my view if the Fed keeps pushing these rates up, and we might definitely see it go much, much higher from the retail side of it. So cool. Tech stocks were back in the firing line amid expectations for higher for longer rates, and with Apple falling 0.3% to lead big tech to the downside. Chip maker Marvel Technology closed in the red, but well off session lows, despite delivering softer guidance and weaker than expected third quarter results, and so on. So cool. Just going to jump through that. Energy stocks were dragged lower by a slip in oil prices ahead of a meeting of the Organization of Petroleum Export Countries and its allies known as OPEC, pointing to OPEC Plus's decision to opt for the virtual meeting rather than an in-person meeting. BC said the group's decision to opt for no drama optics seemingly increased the likelihood of a rollover decision. So there we are. So that's kind of cool. Let's jump over to crypto, though. There's not a lot of crypto news out at the moment. Obviously, mostly still is FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried dominating with his little innocent tour. Is it an innocent tour? I don't know. You decide. But he just trying to make it's more like I don't know. Maybe I wasn't the best CEO. Maybe So anyway, the only way that's going to be fleshed out is by going to court. So we'll see what happens there. Apparently, the Justice Department is looking into it, so we'll find out will his Democrat friends protect him or not. BTC there at 17,116 is up 1%. ETH is $1,300 up 1.7, so holding up pretty well at the moment. The hammer has not yet fallen, and of course we're expecting. What I mean by that is expecting it to go down to 12 to 14k or even 11k and pray, as Richard would say. So we'll see how we get on there. Nothing's inevitable, but there's so much contagion in the market that maybe more of that's yet to rear its ugly head. And we do know that there's a few of the bigger players that are under the microscope at the moment. So you got Kraken, Crypto.com, or you name them. There's lots of them that potentially are exposed to FTX and other things like that. So we'll see how they get on. Also, how much they are playing with their own balance sheet as well. So that's why we saw a lot of proof of reserves come out. So you have to judge yourself. They have managed to stop the run on the bank for the time being. We will see how we get on moving ahead. BNB up 293. Now BNB's performed pretty well recently, and of course it's currently just under $300, but it's actually been a pretty good player as performing. What else is interesting here? We've got USDC and USD Tether both at $1 peg. Nice to see. We've got Dodge at 10 cents. And the big standout here at the moment, AVAX here up 5.6% at $13.62. Now, one of the ones that is in question also is Solana. That is up almost 2% to $13.73. We'll be seeing whether any more cracks come to Solana as we move ahead as well. All right, so cool. That is it on that one. Let's get into the Hex charts, though. The Hex has actually been pretty good over the last couple of days, so we're going to have fun talking about that. Before we do that, though, let's catch up on the chat. Got a few other people in the house. Dude like Brazology's chant there. Pulsechain, money train, bang, bang, bang. I like that. That's pretty cool. All right, so cool. Pablo says, I'll be buying more Hex. That's great. I think I got up to there too. We got up to a Pulsechain. We certainly did that. Chris says, hello, everybody. I believe there's a new update for Ledger. Check it out. Hey, look, that's great. If you haven't got a Ledger, then, Treasurer, you can find it in the Discord under useful links. We've got the links to those sites if you want to get some of those. Now, the other thing I was going to say is that Pulsechain had a new update. So actually, we're going to talk about that now. I'll pull it up because that's probably while I'm thinking about it. Let's pull that up. So I did post this on the community tab here on Hex Token channel. So you can go to Sacrifice Checker. And of course, that has a new version here. So here it is, the 1st of December in 2022. So a bullish sign. Let me know what you think. Bullish sign for Pulsechain testnet V3. You let me know. 1st of December there. The last update we had was 23rd of October, but there have been pretty big gaps between these two because before that was the 25th of August. So we'll see. But that's, kind of a good sign, right? Kind of a good sign. The other thing is, let's have a quick look at GitLab while we're at it. The last update, we had all those updates in week 3. I remember Richard even mentioned, there's been updates on testnet. Now, I wasn't sure whether he was just referring to this update on GitLab, which is normally just little updates, nothing major, because most of the time the devs all have their private accounts. This is just the public view on GitLab, but they have their private folders that they update and they talk to with the actual testing and things like that. So we'll see how that goes. In any case, Hex at the moment 3.122 cents. And Ted Nelson says waiting on Oryx wallet to accept ledgers, then may switch over from MetaMask. Yeah. So Randy Alaski is obviously a promoter of Oryx wallet. I was going to look to download it myself, so I'll probably have a look through that as well. It does have lots of cool features. I'll definitely check that. I might do a video on that too. Good morning, everybody. We'll get Iron Life in the house. Good to see Iron Life. It's been a little while, actually. And, of course, popping in to say hi and show support at the water park, I guess you're saying, with the kids. Yeah. Nice. Sounds like a lot of fun there. Good to see you again, Iron Life. And, of course, Matt and Bali, good morning, New Zealand. Super fan and all. Good to see you, Matt. I think it's a cold wallet. Cold, I guess you'd call it. Island Life there says, hi, Sandy. Good to see you. And all my numbers were the same. Phew, says Sandy Beach. Nice. So that's on the checker if you check the latest sacrifice numbers. I need one more dip. Got half a bag of powder waiting. Nice one there, Matt. I think there's a few people like yourself that have been able to accumulate some dry powder and ready to get some deals on Hex if Hex does decide to do any dip further. All right, so here we are. Let's get into it, folks. We've had 4 green days, and is that cool? Actually, we've got a new candle going to be starting up here. I'm not sure if it's refreshed. Let me refresh the chart. Maybe it might pop up. Let's have a look here. No, it's still going, showing 4 days. So we've got 4 days here. And, of course, we've got the high of the chart today, 3.3 cents, which is pretty good. And, of course, we've just had a couple 4 days in a row of green, which is pretty nice. Let's have a look at how much we've gone up from here. We got down to this chart here, which I think was about right. Yeah, so we're up about, we did have a rally of about 40, or just under 42%. Looks like around 42% rally over 4 or 5 days. So that's been pretty good. And of course, we are currently at 3.11 cents. Let's have a look what's coming up. We've cut through a lot of the stuff. And of course, we're only really, we've got the Fed rate hike coming up on the 14th. That's really the last big thing to get through. After that, maybe we'll have our Christmas, Hex Christmas, as it were, Hexmas, as someone said earlier. And maybe if we get Pulsechain V3 in this time frame, that'd be absolutely bullish, man, after the 14th. And let's go, we get 50, but this is kind of the bullish scenario, 50 basis points for the federal rate hike, not 75. And then, of course, Pulsechain V3. Oh, well, that forward-looking statement's important too. So what are they going to do for February? But then if we got Pulsechain V3 testnet, that's super bullish for Hex for Christmas, I reckon. That'd be super, super good. All right, so cool. That's kind of it. Now, obviously, Richard Hart announced on Hexo's channel, Hexologist, on the 9th of October that he was going to be forking each proof of stake. So that is really bullish. How many days has it been since then? It's been 54 days. 54 days. So what was 90 days? 90 days would get us to the 7th of January. So even if we don't get it testnet in pre-Christmas, although obviously the fork of ETH was earlier, They've got to get familiar with the chain, right? So obviously they were very familiar with the BSC version of the ETH proof of work, but they've got to get familiar with the chain, with the proof of stake, and of course, hopefully we'll get the testnet up and running publicly, the public. So they go from private to public. That'd be cool. That's kind of where we're at the moment. So very excited about that. Actually, I'm going to add in the ETH fork on there too at some stage. So that's cool. Let's have a look at the log chart, and we're going to go to weekly now. Let's go to the weekly chart for Hex. And let's zoom in this. I'm going to auto that as well. Let's spread some of this out here. We're going to get rid of the overlay. And no, we're not going to get rid of the overlay. I'm going to keep the overlay there. But we've got the weekly chart here. I'm going to zoom that out here. Now you can see this long-term resistance on the log chart. And of course, just with the tops here, back here, and of course our high back in September. And you can see we're at the stage. So we're miles away from the bullish breakout here. Which is still up around 9 cents or so. So still a while to get up to there. So we'll be looking to try and find some bottom. Now, whether we zigzag to the side here really will depend. If we get Pulsechain testnet V3, I think it's very bullish for us. So let's see how we go. Now, obviously, if we continue this downtrend, if we go down to 1 cent or something, which is what people may talk about if we do get the hammer falling on crypto, then we're down this area. That's the bearish scenario. Bullish scenario is up around here, so maybe up around 7.5 cents or something by the time we get there. We'll be thinking about that. So it's kind of just pulling this out a bit longer here. So it just depends on the timing. This is way out in February, April, so that's a long way away. But if we get this December bullish run, getting up, breaking out at 9.5 cents, that'd be super bullish. And we'd need something like this behavior here. This is the weekly candles, not daily candles. I flipped the weekly. And we need something like that to play out, right? So we need green to do that. So let's look forward to that. That's kind of where we are at the moment with Hex. Let's have a look at the whale bot and let's see what the whale bot's saying to us. Let's have a look here. We've got we got through all the OA stakes. So I did check out the OA ladders for December. Obviously, there weren't any for December, so I think there was one. But we don't have OA stakes coming out to next year now, based on the list that I've seen. That's on hexfire.com. I think it is hexfire.io, something like that. So cool. 9 hours ago, we had 100,000 Hex, got nuked 74 days out of 5555. So I don't know what's happening there, but that's pretty insane, right? Pretty insane. That one. Anyway, so what else? Hex supply inflated by 1.31% this year. Was 1.62% last year. Woohoo! So didn't you like that low inflation? So Hex supply by 1.31% this year was 1.62% last year. So that was 16 hours ago. Isn't that cool? Realized inflation, including staked Hex and OA. And that's why I always talk about the OA plays such a powerful role. And of course, penalties and things like that. So really cool. I imagine it's just that realized inflation there. So very, very low inflation environment. Even though a nominal inflation's up to 3.69, effective inflation's much lower. So very cool. All right, we had 1 million Hex stake for 3,286 days. Very cool. And of course, getting 1,100 T-shares there. We had another 1 million staked as well for 3,652, getting 119 T-shares. Nice to see that. What else there? We've got Hex was trending on Twitter. We like to see that all the time. 740, another bomb here. What's that? 742 days out of 1,030. So look at the penalties, how high the penalty is. Really is quite high. Obviously, it's softened if you've got big beta in there, but man, it's pretty high otherwise. So just remember that, the penalty there. Now, Staker app, if you use Staker app, they do show you what your net value is in there. But, generally, it's better just to let the stake mature there. All right, so cool. The reward there, this one here, 1 million here, 28 to negative 28% ROI. That's some crazy stuff right there. And of course, 201 days late on that one. So crazy reward, 8,866. Insane on the brain. So we had some really weird stuff over the last 24 hours. 2 million Hex in staked and also got penalized 2,046 days out of 1095. Who knows what's going on with all these counts? Crazy. So anyway, and then another, what's that? Another million? What's that back here? That another million nuked as well. 246 days out of 5555. What's going on here? That is just some insane stuff here. Is that a Hex anniversary gift? Yeah, says Steph. That's kind of where you feel, right? Is that a gift? Is that supposed to be a gift? Yeah. Thank you for your service. Feels like that, doesn't it? nuked over 30K for 5K return, either hacked or really nervous novice. Something not quite right there. All right, so cool. What else there? 123 million Hex stake for 90 days. Some of these big, large holders here. And I'm not sure. Let's see if anyone's going to comment on that. Holy Hex. There's some Hex hunts. At 3 cents, this guy is making 480,000 in 3 months. All right, so cool. That is that the highlights? I think it is. I know we got 10 million Hex stake for 5555. Woohoo! 11 minutes ago. 10 million Hex stake for 5555. 1,193 T-shares. What does that make him? A dolphin? A dolphin there? Wow, that's so cool. That was 11 minutes ago. Filthy, says Sweetie. Oh, that's just nasty. And that's nasty. On fire. What? Isn't that cool? That is cool. 10 million stake for 5555. Very cool. All right, so cool. That is some of the highlights there. Let's jump over to Hedron. We're going to race through this one. We've got Hedron at the moment at 1,905. Yesterday had a very good day. Got up to 2,152, but down again today, and the downtrend still intact here. Nothing to see here, folks, as it were. We've still got the 9-day moving EMA, so the exponential moving average is below the 21-day, so no really bullish cross there. And of course, the exponential moving average is really, rather than a simple moving average, is really weighting the current prices versus the past prices there based on the 9-day and 21-day respectively. So there we are at the moment, and of course we're just going through the HSI bonanza, still going all the way through to like the 20th or 21st or something of December. Going to still have lots of T-shares coming out, thousands on many of those days coming, so that's still going. Let's have a look at the HSI auctions and have a look at that. We've got a lot happening there. 5,267 still in the queue, but not being bought into the auction house. And of course, lots of them still stuck in the queue there. Interesting issue, I think, worthy of fleshing out at some stage. I wonder if I know that Crypto Sloth is kind of is it Crypto Sloth and Maximum that are like hardcore Hedronians. Is that the right word? Hedronians? I think so. I wonder if they talk about it on their channels. Could be interesting. Anyway, so we've got 33 is currently in the auction house, and I'm still waiting. This still doesn't say auction house, Alex. I've been saying it every day. Are you not watching this channel at all? Come on. Auction house. All right. We'll do a petition. We're going to do a petition. Start a petition on Hex Token Twitter for auction house. All right. So cool. All right. Jokes aside, we've got 33 in the auction house at the moment. And of course, let's have a look at how big some of these are. There's lots of value for people here. Definitely worth hunting and getting some really good Hex there as well. We've got 138,000 Hex here. We've got 402,000, 3.2 billion bid on that. 8 hours to go on that one. 404,000, 407,000, 145,000, 154,000. So some pretty decent size here. There's lots of smaller ones which are really good targets for smaller retail plays if you're in that zone. 145,000 X, 143 million on that so far. What else there? We've got quite a lot. There's actually a lot of good value here, actually. This is a pretty good list, this 33. So there's probably something for everybody in there. Definitely worth considering. Make sure you do your valuations properly, though. And, of course, you can take a current price valuation and then, of course, look at the forward price as well. And it's good to do that in T-share equivalents. It's a good way to do that. So, cool. Let's see what Dev Huey says. And Dev Huey is the Master G. Is the Master G or Top G? Top G or Top E? Brazology knows all the stuff. Top E and Top G and Top B or something. I don't know. I know that that's all the craze now to say Top G. Hex Token, Top G. Superman, top something. I don't know. All right, so let's have a look here. Let's get back to serious stuff here. Code nerds, check the thread. I want to jump away from that. No, that's it. So no updates here. No, it doesn't look like any Wattses have been burned either. Let's jump over to the data and have a look at Hedron. Let's have a look at Hedron and see how it's going over with these results. Now, if you're staking Hedron or you're staking Icosa Hedron, if you're staking Hedron, you're staking Icosa, or you got Wattses, then you're earning every day. And it's been pretty good, to be honest. So 7 trillion has been burned, folks. 7 trillion has been burned. Woo! Nice. So this Hedron, so we've got Hedron days and we've got Icosa days. So just remember, because Icosa launched after Hedron. But yeah, we've got 7 trillion burned so far. That's really, really cool. Doesn't look like we've got too much in here at the moment, but pretty nice. The rates, got the interest rate for Hedron here. ticking along pretty nicely. Seeing some big days where some big payouts were made, and so forth. So cool. 542 billion Hedron loaned, and of course, I don't know. Maybe the loaned amount's been lower than maybe we would have expected there. It's really for sophisticated players that have a good plan in play. And Hedron there, 76.2 minted there. So let's have a look in day 280. Day 280. So 123 million minted and 202 million burned. So deflationary on day 280. So that's good to see. So it is a deflationary on today. So that's cool. You want that a bit every day, just to be a bit more deflationary every day and burning up that Hedron supply, because the Hedron supply is quite large. Let's jump over to the Watsons, and we'll have a look and see how people are getting on with their rewards here. Woo! 1,068 versus 1,000. Really nice here. Look at that. Wow, that's so cool. Look at that. This is the first day on the 13th. Remember, just boom, massive yield recovery from there. It was pre to that, you were at 344. And then, of course, within a couple of days, you're up at 716. So really nice return recovery there. Obviously subject to the price of Icosa. So very cool. That is going well there. And of course, Icosa, let's have a quick look at that. Icosa sounds like something out of one of those classic Japanese war movies. Icosa, something like that. I used to watch so many of those. Was it the Seven Samurai and all that sort of stuff? I think it's been a while though. It's been a while, but I used to watch that, binge watch that stuff. Those epic Japanese samurai movies were absolutely amazing. There was, I think, a very famous director. He was very good. Can't remember his name now. He used to make absolutely epic Japanese movies. I don't know where they got all the people from, because it was this really huge cast. All right, so 557 billion Hedron there and 18.8 million Icosa. And look at yesterday was actually a pretty good day there. Almost 3 billion Hedron paid out. And of course, this is for Icosa stakers and Icosa, 196,000 Icosa there. So pretty good. Look at that. That's pretty nice there on that one. So yeah, I think that's it. Now, we're not going to go to these other two, but there's also HSI buybacks and the Hex in there as well. But we won't bother jumping in there today. All right, so cool. Let's go to the airdrops. Now, as you guys know, the links to the airdrops and free claims list is in the Discord. So you go to Discord. We have two chats, the Richard Hart chat and the Pulsechain chat. If you go to the Pulsechain chat, underneath that is the airdrops and free claims. And of course, so you can see whether you qualify. And of course, remember, always do your own investment due diligence, etc., etc. So cool. Let's jump over to Zen. Now, Zen obviously has got their NFTs coming up there. Jack Levin's been all over the place. He's on multiple YouTubers. I did like his AMA with Trayvon the other day. And so that's pretty cool. Just talking about Trayvon. Now, Trayvon has a token called the More token. I'm a little bit curious about that. So I did see what. So there was when BitConnect was out. There were 5 well-known YouTubers that were in that space there, and one of them, I can't remember his name. I think it was Ilmam or something like that. I can't remember now. A friend of Trayvon, I believe. And he was making an interesting video yesterday talking about the fact that maybe More token has all these wallets that have been minted at the beginning. So he was a little bit dubious about that. You can definitely check that out. Yeah, that's an interesting thing. So are there a lot of founder wallets minted? So let me know. You can get us to our price chat in Discord, and we'll chat about that if you want, because it's not good form when if that is the case, that founders do stuff like that. So all right, so cool. At the moment, we've got 5,797 is on the chart here at the moment, with 5 zeros in the front. So Zen just obviously with the log function there, just minting. Now they do have the Zen NFTs coming out, and Jack Levin did post 2 hours ago that the Apex X Unicorn series Zen NFT will be priced at 10 billion Zen, and this is something that Trayvon was suggesting. Looks like it got picked up here, and so that's going to be 10 billion. So they're going to create this real scarcity because it's going to get burned, right? So it's going to be a big burn mechanism. Now, Jack was saying that I think there's around about just over $1 trillion at the moment or something of Zen on the ETH chain. And of course, what else he's saying? That he probably thinks in the first year there might be 4 to 5 trillion as his estimate there. So that's kind of where it is. So getting big burns through these NFTs is going to be important, I think. Price meaning the amount of Zen you have to burn to mint one. So there we are. So it's going to be a big minting. What will it do for this chart? We see another one of these kind of things playing out, and I suggest we probably will. They are taking more time to do this, so it's going to be fun to see that. Burn in this case means irrevocably destroying from total supply of Zen. And of course, they've got testnet version 4 in play at the moment. for that one. And of course, there's the Zen. There is an example of the Zen X Unicorn there. That's actually a pretty cool name, the Unicorn, like that. So that's kind of some of the updates there. Zen NFTs coming. That's going to be pretty bullish. So that changes the game a little bit. As you guys know, I cover it because it's a possible play, and I like seeing innovations in crypto. So that's most of the ones I do cover, I think, are innovative. And so we're going to see. This is trying to do the mass adoption, the network effect, and of course, a so-called fair distribution, first principles, and all sorts of stuff. You can obviously critique that for yourself. I think there are certain flaws to it, but it's not something I'm going to focus on this channel. But it's exciting to see it play out. We're going to follow it as a possibility, as opposed to probable projects like Hex and other things like that. Zen ecosystem has been the top gas burner this week, so still burning a lot of gas, burning over $1.2 million in one top position in Uniswap. So you can imagine that if we get back into a bull market for Ethereum, and the fees start really coming back, even with the proof of stake system, because remember, it wasn't really to deal with proof of stake. That's the next phase of the ETH upgrades. They're going to try and get sharding and roll ups and things like that to increase the TPS and lower the fees. Basically, make in one way of imagining it's like a bigger pipe with more water flowing through it. And so yeah, that's still to come. So you can imagine if that doesn't come first, then and we go to get congestion starts getting back on the proof of stake chain, then the fees are going to go up. And of course, if you're minting Zen today, that's going to look pretty cheap, right? So you're going to be in the money. Someone in the future has to print at a much larger price there, and then of course the marginal price play comes into play. So it's going to be fun to see that as well. So cool. Yeah, so there we are. So there's some cool little updates there from that one. Obviously, it's a free mint, and the people are minting. We'll see how they get on. Now, let's look at the weight token. Weight token's just kicking along there. It looks like it had a bit of a jump today. Got up to as high as 0.3 of a penny. Currently at just over 1/4 of a penny at the moment. And most people are just waiting. There's 8 different sacrifices for that that you can qualify for the weight token. And most people will get just waiting for that. They get more weight as they wait until Pulsechain. Finally, the PP, Poor Pleb. This is for people that did something like $10 to $1,000 of sacrifices. Pulsex, Pulsechain, I think, that sort of thing. And of course, that's currently at 5 zeros, 3,200. But it's holding itself up here. Reached the bottom down here of 2,000, now at 3,200. And it did dip down today, just below 3,000, but back up over 3,000 to 3,200. It's kind of just mulling along there. There is, I think, like 69-day claim phase. I'm not sure. Maybe we're close to halfway through it. I'm not sure. I have to go check that myself. All right, cool. Something I might do today. How about that? That's on my to-do list. All right, cool. That is pretty much the airdrops. We're going to jump away from that, and we're going to get into the Pulse Bitcoin ecosystem. Now, this has had a really good rally. So I think some of the big whales are starting to play some games here, to be honest. So let's zoom out on this because it's pretty important. Before we do that, though, let's get into the chat and catch up so I'm not too far behind. I'm trying to segment these sections off as we cover these. I think we got up to Island 369 and we got to Matt's as a sure. Rango, we talked about Rango. Matt says, by the way, is Zen working with other wallets or just MetaMask? Anyone tried? Should be working with other wallets that interact with the chain. Shouldn't be an issue. Has RH made any statement regarding the 3rd birthday of Hex? Is he quiet? Not that I'm aware of. I haven't heard of anything. I know that Matty Allen's been running his 3rd birthday party on his channel. I quickly went through some of that before the live stream, see whether there's anything interesting in there. I couldn't see anything myself. Apart from that, yeah, I don't think he has. He hasn't done anything that I can see. The last one was when he put this out yesterday. When is Hex 3 years old? That was about it. We got 700 followers on there, so it's kind of cool. How's he doing on his followers? 288,000 on Twitter, so not too bad. That's kind of it for there. What else? How we're coming up to an hour here on the live stream. Cool. I was going to try Trust Wallet. Yeah, seems better than MetaMask. Yeah. That's the thing. Check my pulse in the house. Happy birthday, Hex. Woohoo! Good to see you. Evening, Superman. Evening, fellow Hexicans. Good to see my check my pulse in the house there. All right, so here we are at the moment. We got $1.76 on Pulse Bitcoin. It did have a bit of a pump today to $1.91 and a low of $1.70. So it's just above that moment, $1.76. Now I'm expecting, this is what I'm expecting for this, right? So we've got this big price at the beginning. We get this the sell off like this. This is played out pretty much exactly. The time frame is always difficult to tell though. How long this is going to run. But this is pretty much played out as I said it would take out. but we haven't had any rally in this price yet, and that's where that's still up in the future there, I'm sure. But nothing is inevitable. But at this stage, $1.76, we will see. What we have seen is people were talking about rumors on the street that the whales are probably going to look to accumulate asset tokens. And what did we see play out after we talked about this yesterday? We talked about this yesterday. What has happened? And of course, here's on the hourly chart. Look at what happened. So people accumulating the asset token. I said to you, I think this is my view, and of course my opinion was that we got ATM NFTs at the top because you accumulate asset tokens, but then maybe the asset tokens is next, and then of course Pulse Bitcoin, then Pulse Dogecoin, and then maybe Pulse Litecoin. But that the order could shift around over time. The ATMs, of course, you're not earning any Pulse Bitcoin, whereas the asset tokens you are earning Pulse Bitcoin. So there's a kind of a time trade-off on that. So maybe asset tokens actually at the top at the moment as you're earning Pulse Bitcoin as well. So that kind of makes logical. Anyway, we got this big rally, and of course we were down at 82 cents and we got up to $1. So it's a pretty nice rally here. It's just a sign of things to come. Obviously, after you have a big rally, typically you get some sort of pullback, but not always. And we'll see how we get on there. There was a flash crash back here on the hourly chart, back here early in the morning, my time. And of course, that got bought up. What a nice buy that was, down at 71 cents. So whoever managed to pick anything up along here would have been pretty happy about that. Let's go to the daily on the ASICs and see what that looks like. So there we are. That is the daily on the ASICs. Isn't that crazy? But yeah, people accumulating asset tokens, pretty much just like having the ASIC miner. And of course, after the transform is finished on the 20th or 21st of this month, then you can't get asset tokens without having ATMs or having ASIC on the market. So it looks like someone's trying to front run that a little bit. So we'll see how we get on. We are currently only still at the early December, so still a while to go. What's that? Still 17 days or so to go. So it's kind of cool. Interesting play. Now, ASICs could get quite valuable. Who knows? We'll see. It makes sense to me that they will. So it's kind of it. All right, cool. We've got the Pulse Dogecoin, on the other hand, is at $5.29. That also got pumped as well, which was interesting as to see that. Now, maybe that got pumped because ASIC got pumped. So, yeah, that played out pretty well too. I haven't mapped out the 2 hourly charts there, but that's kind of where it is at the moment. It's back up to $5.29. Did get really low just 4 days ago. It was down at $3.78. So it's pretty nice gains, right? Pretty nice gains in there. I'm going to put the green plane. Now we're just ticking along. Look, not far to go until the end of the transform. Not far to go at all. And I've got here that it's around about the 20th of December. So we could see some fireworks leading into and perhaps afterwards for this one too. So that's kind of cool. Let's jump over to the results at the moment on the transform tab. And of course, we've got 3,138,000 Pulse Dodge has been transformed and burned into 15.44 million asset tokens. And of course, 51.49% of Pulse Dodge has been burned. So are we going to see this chart do something fun or with the meme coin, or is asset token and Pulse Bitcoin going to dominate? There is all these tokens now competing against each other. And of course, the ecosystem, they'll all do well if the ecosystem continues to grow. But if you have, say, this system is just not growing, it's just stuck at a certain amount of people, then one of these is going to benefit over the others, no doubt, right? So we'll see how that plays out. Let's have a look at the mining. The mining at the moment is 7,050 miners. We've got 19 million asset tokens mining at the moment, which has gone up from yesterday. 33,000 ASICs has been burnt. So asset token, which is a mining token, has got deflation in it, which is pretty cool. 2,387,994 Pulse Bitcoin has been mined so far, but of course not all of it's been minted to existence because everybody has to stake for 30, mine for 30 days. Got to use the right lingo. And of course, the first halvening will be at 10.5 million Pulse Bitcoin, and there's only ever going to be 21 million, just like the proof of work Bitcoin, the original Bitcoin, Satoshi's Bitcoin. Global active ATMs 2,856, and of course 1.1 million points is the average. And of course, you can trade these on Rarible and OpenSea. I haven't valued these or checked them out. I probably should try and do it today. People have redeemed 3.5 million points, so really they've been chasing the Pulse Bitcoin, and that seems to be the case there. And of course, they're basically joined the rest of the transform and mining. That's why we get this bigger number, 19 million there. All right, cool. That's pretty much it. We've got the Hex daily stats, man. Woohoo! Have we got it? Yes, we have. We got it, folks. First day of the year for year 4. First day of year 4. Woohoo! Rock on. And of course, we've got the 2nd of December 2022 at day 196. And of course, we're now into day Day 1097 can move. So onwards and upwards, folks. So yeah, 3.131 cents, so up 2.6%, which is nice. So it's pretty cool. Let's see whether we can get a rally on for Christmas. Can't bring it on. That'd be so cool. Once the Hex train moves, I guess it's going to move pretty fast. But of course, we haven't seen the hammer drop for crypto as we might have expected so far. In November seemed the most likely month, but hey, maybe it's going to drag out a little bit. The payout per T share 6.388. So really good day as we went through the whale bot. We saw all those penalties, and man, what a good day in the office for Hex takers. 6.388 Hex per T share. With Hex.com, you're really chasing the T shares. That is your kind of your, for lack of a slang word, is your money printer. And of course, you sit back and relax. You don't have to trade. You don't have to do margin trading. Try and make big returns. You can just sit back and relax there. 6.388. Now, T-share price there, $789, and T-share rate there, 25,200, and of course, up 4 Hex per T-share. So this is only going up and to the right. And of course, really early. It's really about earlier pays better because you get in early at that lower share rate. And of course, then you longer pays better, bigger pays better if you can benefit from the later as well. So pretty cool. Average stake length, 6.72 years. So as I said, the general principle Richard talks about is people buying X or buying the token and not selling. Obviously, people are staked out average 6.72. Now, this distribution does depend on who's staking out that length of time, but that is pretty cool, 6.72. APY, the annual percentage yield rate, and of course, the yield and emergency in-stake penalties, 38.35%. And of course, we saw on the whale bot that the inflation is actually really low, effective inflation. That's why I always go on about effective inflation versus nominal inflation. Obviously, the Hex contract's up to 3.69, but we have these mechanisms that keep it relatively lower depending on what adjustments you make. So I think that's pretty cool. But in realized inflation, we saw that it's down really low. So it's so exciting to be in a low inflation environment. That's even more pumpamental. So we're getting Hex taken off the circulating supply, a low inflation environment. It's very good, and we're growing the retail books. Good. And we've got so many big things to come up ahead. So it's just about a matter of time in the market and letting these things play out, and it's going to be fun times ahead. All right, so cool. We got liquidity in the pool. It's 271 million Hex, so pretty similar to yesterday, just slightly less. And we've got liquidity in the pool, just under 11.3 million US dollars. So that's up as well. So really good metrics today. Fantastic metrics. Can anyone complain about the metrics today? They are really delivering for the first day of the year. So pretty cool. And 1,643 Ethereum in there. Let's jump over to the T-shares. T-shares are down again look at this. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Amazing. Look at this stuff. Is this insane in the membrane or what? We're down to 10,289,000 T-shares, down 12,200. Obviously, we knew we had these stakes coming out this time. We've been talking about them for days, but it's great to see this, isn't it? And of course, we'll see what happens to all this Hex. We just saw a 10 million get staked for 5555, and we'll see what happens to this Hex in the future too. It's going to be fun to see. Anyway, we're down a staggeringly 10,289,000. That is mind-boggling. Remember, this is Hex. Hex is easy to understand. We have a reward pool with inflation and penalties in it, and we have an ownership pool with T-shares, which stands for trillions of shares in the ownership pool. So the ownership pool owns the reward pool, and of course, if the reward pool and the ownership pool change a little bit, then the Hex payout per T-share changes. That's it in a nutshell. Hex.com, folks. Links in the video description. And of course, there it is. Look at that. Crazy. This is amazing. We used to be over 11 million T-shares. We're down to 10.2. And this is why I say in the future that if you're holding T-shares out longer pays better. By the time we get out to that time, it's going to be even better than you look at the numbers today. All things equal there. It's going to be pretty amazing. Ceteris paribus, as we say in economics. Ceteris paribus. So cool. That's pretty much it. I don't know where I got that from. Where did that come from? Freaking out here on this channel. All right, so cool. We jump over to the stake percentage of coins. 9.71% of Hex is staked at the moment. We've got 3 million Hex penalties and a very good day in the office. And let's have a look at the growth numbers. The current holders on the Ether scans are down 131, and we're down to 314 to 157. And we've got the headline number, which is the one we look at, is the staker class, because Hex is all about getting T-shares. 268 is the increase there. The stakes up to 116,000. This is going really, really nicely lately. And of course, the Hex price is helping. The secondary derivative products are helping. And of course, people getting out and about helping. The Hex third birthday is probably helping a little bit there. And of course, fourth year now. Total holders up 297 to 515,188. So looking really good there. We're on day 1,097 onwards and upwards. I'm sure year 4 is going to be absolutely brilliant, folks. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the coverage at the beginning. Hex.com, links in the video description. Check it out. Make sure you do your investment due diligence. If you need any help, of course, get into our Discord. We have moderators and community leaders that are willing to help you, and community members. If you want to find out more, definitely check that out, hex.com. All right, so cool. Let's get into it. We've got the wrap up here. BTC at $17,000, ETH at $1,300. So the hammer has not yet fallen. We are waiting for that final move down. We'll have to see how long that takes to happen, or if it inevitably does. I still think it's more probable. So that's kind of where we're at this stage. Hex at the moment is at 3.1 cents. Let's go back to the daily. There is our new candle there. We've got a new candle. So we'll see how we get on here. 3.1 cents here at the moment on Hex. And we've got Hedron there at 1900. That's kind of where we are at this stage. Very, very cool. Let's leave it on the Hex chart and get into the chat for our final wrap up. We've got a few more people in the house. So let's see who's tuned in here. I think we got up to that. We've got to check my pulse. We've got Jim Rat Cryptos in the house. Gains, baby, gains. Jim Rat Cryptos in the house there. And we've got the Crypto Coffee is in San Diego for the meetup for the 3rd birthday. Yes, PSI, I actually, you just remind me, I haven't actually, there's a final topic we need to talk about, and PSI gave me that update, so I'm going to talk about that. Crypto Coffee, yeah, I saw something interesting in that with Crypto Coffee there. I'm not going to say it on live stream, but it was pretty interesting. Yeah. PSI says, yeah, I actually bought some more ASICs at 83 cents, better to lucky than good. Well done, PSI. Your timing was perfect. Sandy, big shout there. GRC! Shouting out there. Nice one. All right, so we're going to quickly talk about BNB Pot, our speculative play, which we haven't talked about at the moment. So let me just pull up the chart on that. Let me pull that up. I might close the Hedron down. And let's have a quick look at BNB Pot here. See what the prices of BNB Pot. We're coming up here. $9.14. $9.14 on BNB Pot. So that's cool. Now, BNB Pot has an update. So I'm just going to bring that up just a moment. One moment, caller. I think it's on the new tokens chats. PSI. Where did PSI post that? I'm just trying to think where PSI posted that. Price chats? No. Where did PSI put that on there? General chat? No. New tokens chat. Where did you post that? PSI posted that. I just don't know where he posted that. Let me just find that out. Where did you post that? There it is. Okay, cool. So BNB P. So this is an update BNB P. So new dev hired. So new dev has been hired to keep up the development and future chain growth. So really cool. Ramping up the team there. Number 2, the target is Roulette and Fortune Wheel to launch in December. So that's what's expected to launch. So let's pull up a BNBP actually. BNBP. Let's pull it up. BNB Pot. So that's coming up. Going to load. So what is that? So new target is a Roulette and Fortune Wheel. So Roulette is coming up next, and Fortune Wheel's coming up. Powerball was supposed to be coming out, but that's going to be delayed because they're going to beef that up. That's going to get beefed up. So yeah, a Roulette and Fortune Wheel is to launch in December. And so that's the Roulette and Fortune Wheel in December. They're going to be launching in December, and they are pending an LP, liquidity provider audit from front end, and game contract are complete. So that's coming in December. The Powerball is has been pushed into the new year due to increased game scope. So they're beefing that game up. So it's going to be cool. Number 4, game stats. So these stats here, they're going to be, have they changed that? Oh, that's cool. Yeah, so they've done some changes there. Small stats page addition expansion. I'm not sure to come in the next 24 hours. So it looks like they've done that. That looks pretty new to me. So that looks cool. Profit leaderboard and loss leaderboard. Very cool. I like that a lot. So it's kind of cool. Highest profit user, $26,000. Highest lost user, $46,000. Oh my gosh, poor person. And of course, most active user, 326 games. Most fees by user, $293,000 there. So it's kind of cool on the leaderboard. We've got the general. That looks pretty similar. There's probably maybe some little changes look similar to me. Participation phase, 70% through. Nice they've added that little line there. Distribution is in 39 days for the participation wallet. That's the estimation, I guess, of how fast it's going to be paid out at the current win rate, I guess. So cool. That is looking good. Airdrops, 3 airdrops. The next one is 27 days, 21. You need to stake your BNB to get hold of that, which is the viewpoint that we're taking on this channel. The burn there is coming up. They've been paying out some more burns. This is going pretty well. So we're down to 997,803 on the contract. That's going down and down and down. I love it. It's going so good. It's going to sneak up on people. And of course, the lottery gets paid out. People can call that function, and people have been calling it when it's really small. If someone calls this and I win, I want it to be big. I don't want these small amounts. I want to get some of these ones here, like 45 and 98. Stop drawing it every time. There's people doing small amounts of BNB. I want the big ones. I want the big ones there. All right, so cool. And of course, the BNB their stake percentage is at 76.58%, but it does include the participation wallet, which is going to be paid out in 39 days. That's some highlights. So some cool updates there from BNB Pot. So yeah, roulette coming up next, fortune wheel next after that. And of course, currently jackpot is ticking over. And what game are we up to? Game 10,303. So obviously, there's been over 10,000 games now. That's very, very cool. All right, so cool. That's ticking along there. Let's leave on Hex chart, 3.1 cents at the moment. Let me hide that away, and hope you guys have enjoyed that. Yeah, we be killing it, says Crypto Truth. We be killing it, absolutely. All right, hope you guys enjoyed it. We're up to just over an hour and a quarter. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Year 4 is ahead of us, folks. Hope you guys check out the beginning. I did a little presentation on just many of the big, huge things coming for us. It is going to be awesome. We're going to have everything we need to flourish when Pulsechain comes. The ultimate DeFi lending leverage, the stable coins, the fiat on-ramps, off-ramps, the exchanges, the coin listing sites, the cross-chain bridges. It's just goes on and on and on. We're going to have a full ecosystem. And, of course, PulseX, SuperDex, and, of course, Pulsechain, Pulse Gains. That's going to be awesome. Hope you guys enjoyed it today. I will catch you guys next time. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share the channel around, and, of course, hit the bell. If you want to join as a member, hit the join button. We've got Pulseskins, Hexskins, Rich Heart Club. Cool way of supporting the channel. And, of course, don't forget to get into our Discord. The link is in the video description. And come hang out with the community. If you like good information, good community, come join us because it's going to be a lot of fun in the year ahead. All right, take care, everybody. I'm going to play out some fun stuff here. I'm also going to play out day 1 of Richard Hart's highlights that I played yesterday from day 1 of the AA lobby. It's always good to flashback, and you can watch that at the end of the stream as well. All right, take care, everybody. I'm going to play out some cool stuff. All right, bye for now.
Hello, everybody. I've waited a very long time for this day. It's finally come. I'm very happy. So let's talk about what happened. We've had the contract done, the code that makes Hex what it is, for a good long while. And we just wanted to make sure absolutely everything was right. So we got 2 independent audits from 2 different auditors. We got a mathematics audit. That's 3 audits. They're expensive and they're time consuming. And they do 2 things. They, 1, convince you that there's no bugs. And 2, they present that evidence to the audience in a format that they can understand. So if you look on hex.win right now, down under the security tab, you can see how to use hardware wallets with MetaMask, which is the wallet that we suggest for Hex. And you'll also see the mathematics audit and one of the security audits. Now, touch-up needs to be done on this. They need to be super duper finalized and prettied up. We'll get there. Since the bug finding phase is over, no reason to delay. What else? So the contract was supposed to launch at 7 p.m. EST, and I think we're 5 hours late. I'm not even sure how many hours late. And what that's going to do is it's going to make this first day the adoption amplifier, where people send Ethereum in and it gets transformed into Hex. It's going to make it a little shorter. It's not actually going to have any effect after this day. So, actually I could look at the wallet. I've got the wallet in the browser here. Wrong computer, streaming computer. I don't have the wallet. I don't have the browser here. So if you go to hex.win right now, or if you want a 10% bonus, pumpamentals.com, you can click anyone's ref link. It's going to give you that same bonus. There's nothing special about pumpamentals.com. It's just the one that I talk about a lot. You could go to anybody else's. You'll still get the same 10% bonus. It works on the adoption amplifier where you transform ETH into Hex, and it also works on the free claim. Now, free claims will open. So here's the phase that we're in right now. The phase that we're in right now is there's a contract. It has all the game theory in it. It has all the logic in it. It has all the security in it. And for you to be able to talk to that contract, to be able to run that code, you either need to be really, really smart and go on something like etherscan.io and use their write contract feature, which allows you to interact with smart contracts manually. It's harder. Or you can do the easy way and go to go.hex.win. That's go.hex.win. I suggest you use https://. We like that security, the S. So if you want to run this code, so in Hex, you are the network. You mint your own coins, just like Bitcoin. If you're a Bitcoin miner, you brute force, find a hash of a nonce that has a number of, starting zeros in front of it. And that's the difficult problem that you solve. It's not actually difficult. It's just energy consumption. It's literally the dumbest math you could possibly do, but you're doing a lot of it. It's not actually a difficult problem. It's just an energy intensive problem. So Bitcoin miners mine their own rewards, and Hex stakers and people that use the adoption amplifier also mine their own rewards. When you open up MetaMask, you have to tell it where the contract address is of the software that you want to run, because you are the network. You are the only one that can mint your rewards. You're the only one that can stake your coins. You're the only one that can claim your coins. There are no coins unless I haven't even looked at the contract. I haven't even seen how many people are using it. We tested it and everything was perfect. And then I started prepping to talk to you guys. I'm seeing reports in chat that there's 560 Ethereum in there right now. Great. So how did people get 560 Ethereum into the adoption amplifier? Well, they went to go.hex.win, or they're really smart and use the manual way. And there's a tutorial, there's a guide on the front page of hex.win. It's the second video down. First video tells you why we're doing all this stuff, to replace the banks and do things Bitcoin can't do, even though it's great software, even though it's got, tons of really good things going for it. There's just some things it can't do, and it's never going to be able to do. So it only pays miners inflation. People think that Bitcoin's not proof of stake, but it is proof of stake. It means you have stake and mining hardware and electric bills. So it's a different form of proof of stake. It's the kind of stake that kind of, pollutes the environment a little bit, which is necessary. And so my point is, right now, those people that are sending Ethereum into the adoption amplifier, the reason they're doing that is because at the end of this day, they're going to get 1 billion Hex. So if let's say there was 10,000 ETH in there, if you sent 1,000 ETH, you would get 10% of the 1 billion Hex at the end of the day. So this is really interesting because really no one can get like a worse ratio than they deserve, because the other peers are setting it, right? So it's not like someone can get a better deal than you by getting in earlier than you. It doesn't work that way. At the end of the day, everyone's getting the same ratio. It's prorated. Like if you're a bigger dude, you put in more money, you're going to get more Hex out. By the way, I'm usually a little bit better at the old streaming and talking stuff, but I haven't slept in a long time. So if you want to join the adoption amplifier, which is the only thing that's going on today. So yesterday we had the snapshot, went perfect. Everything went fine. Then we processed that snapshot today, and we took a top hash, which is also called a Merkle root, which is weird because they're opposites, right? So it's a Merkle root or a Merkle top hash. And what that does is it lets us very space efficiently store all of the data of all of the balances of the Bitcoin blockchain, the ones that are relevant to our project. We don't let multi-sig claim. So all those whales with multi-sig wallets, you guys watching, you don't have multi-sig whales. Whales do. Okay, you guys can't claim. Mt. Gox trustee, 138,000 Bitcoin, can only sell them legally. No free coins for you, buddy. He's out. And once we did all the reductions and ran the math on the UTXO set before we top hashed it, I think there was only about 9.8 million Bitcoin or 9.86 million Bitcoin that could actually try to claim of the about 18 million total coins. So right off the bat, you know that as a staker, you're going to be given, like if you were the only staker in the system on day 353, you would get all of those coins, over half of the claim supply. But you'd actually end up getting more because those will get multiplied by up to threefold with the critical mass and virality bonuses. Math isn't exactly 3. So for instance, if a lot of really small addresses claim, then that pumps the reward more because, well, the math's hard to describe to you. So if I'm giving you unclaimed coins and then multiplying them by the percent that was claimed, it's they both end up going up, but like hard to explain math, right? So more claims moves the bonuses higher faster than larger claims does. Because while a larger claim is inflating its multiplier, it's also deflating what's being multiplied by, which is the unclaimed coins, right? So at least now, what other coins are going to be given out to all the people at the day 353? Satoshi's probably not going to claim. I think he's deceased. If he wants to come out and claim, he's totally allowed to. It's awesome. People are going to get a lot of late penalties. So if you don't claim your free coins, you start bleeding out 2% every week. And by week 50, you have nothing left. You can't claim anything. That prevents people like the Mt. Gox trustee from seeing a wonderful project, an innovative project with passionate, inspired, awesome people, of which so many people helped out tonight. We've got volunteers from all around the world. Everything that needs done, they help get done, right? They see that there's some spammers hitting up the chat room trying to scam people. Hey man, put me on as mod. And there's people I know, I trust them. All right, mod up, man. And then they go and kill the spammers, right? Beautiful. Great work. Thanks, Dan. We got 2 Dans. Thank you both, Dans. You did great work tonight. And then we've got Meme Squad making amazing memes. Now, because we've had so many, we've had, I don't know, a couple thousand people join the chat room over the last week or 2, I think. I should publish the stats. The rate at which, I would go to sleep for 4 hours, and I'd wake up and there'd be, 1,000 messages. So if I slept 8 hours, it would be about 2,000 messages. And then it went absolutely crazy today. You can't do these types of world-changing, impactful things without help from people. You just can't. And what I found is that people that are passionate about the project are just hyper efficient. They really, really care. We've got, all right, guys, it's been absolutely fabulous. I haven't heard anyone's voice, but I felt connected.
Here in my $3,000 Valentino Rockstud purse, my $3,000 Prada jacket, $2,000 Prada shirt, $2,000 or $3,000 Prada pants, Prada glasses, Prada hat, Prada bracelet, and it's all Prada shirt, Prada hat, Prada glasses, Prada pants, and it's all nylon, so the haters' tears fall right off. Prada shirt, Prada hat, Prada glasses, Prada pants, and it's all nylon, so the haters' tears fall right off.
Lil Bubble, let me ride that rocket.